James is eating the Bulgogi Korean barbecue stuff in the little tortilla things again. Some carrots and stuff. And that's just tomatoes on the side, and he's going to have some pineapple for dessert and maybe some soup if he feels like it. And I have dug up the peppers from the garden, so this is a beautiful habanero pepper that's just loaded. There's so many peppers on this plant. It's really incredible. And this one's doing well.
Exactly.
But this one's starting to pick up again, yep. So I think it's going to be okay.
You already harvested
and this one, I don't know. It's not looking great, but we'll hope for the best. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've done with Flora of Waterton Lakes National Park this year, and that's the ingredients on what James is eating, and we were given this for free. So that's why James is having it. Okay. We're giving it this week. And this is what I've done. I've blown up the pictures, some of them in this book, so that I can try to learn these plants. Because I have to return the book, and I was thinking, well, it's very difficult to try to figure out what some of these things are.
Have you got a map?
Well, if I sit here, I will. But anyway, I'm just going to move this stuff out of the way, and you can talk about whatever you wanted to talk about. So, the table will be a bit dirty or wet where I've had these, but you just go ahead and talk.
I don't know if I want to talk about it.
And you don't have to have your mask on.
Eventually I've got a meeting.
Yeah, well, you don't have to have it on at all, because I'm going to be...
Okay, yeah, it's just you were close when you were talking. I was in a food lineup today down at the college. I noticed someone jumped the line. Young punk. Easily young enough to be my granddaughter. Pauline was right there. She jumped in front of Pauline. And Pauline said several people jumped the line in front of her.
Well, that's young people, though. You know, young people are just that way. They're just college age.
They don't do that. Not in Canada. I don't care what age you do it. You're a skunk. Sorry. Didn't expect this food to be this hard to eat.
I've got a drip tray for you.
So if you come to Canada, another place far away, democracy's general, you line up. You line up. Here's a guy, been about 40 years or 30 years. Now you guys in the democracies don't understand how law-abiding you are. And as I recall, he brought up the example of lining up. Then you folks line up for things. Other places in the world, it's just a free-for-all. That's why our systems work. That's why democracies work. It's not a free-for-all. It's not all about corruption. It's not about who can elbow their way to the front. Comprende? I know what I'm saying is politically incorrect, but it's factually correct. That's why democracies work. Now, I ran across another analysis. And there's a reason why democracies have ended up only in basically one part of the world. I want to make perfectly clear to you, I'm an agnostic and an atheist when it comes to any concept of God that I've run across.
Well,
But I am a respecter of persons, shall we say,
oh, I need that.
when it comes to religions. Some are a little more equal than others. Or maybe they should be. Because we got people strutting around saying, every religion's the same. Stop lying. Cut it out.
So, what I did is I blew up these papers to this big, quite big. So now it's a coloring book. And while I'm coloring it, I'll think about, okay, like some of them I know. Like this one here, you probably know what that one is. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know. If you're from around here, you see this quite often. This is Timothy. It has a lovely name, and it's a lovely grass, but it's this one is introduced into Waterton. So what James and I have been trying to do is learn every plant in Waterton. We're trying to do, so we've been working on that for a couple of years now.
So this book purports to have, I think, every plant in there, like a line drawing, so on and so forth.
Job Kite did an amazing job.
I hope he's not dead now, but he was getting old, I think, when I was
Sure.
out at university. He seemed to be a wonderful guy.
And I mean, he had a PhD in botany, so he knew quite a bit more about plants than I do. And I'm just trying to learn. And there's a lot of things in here, like I would like to have the strength to be able to pack this book with me when I go hiking, but I can't.
It's a big book.
It's a big book. And what I could do, I suppose, maybe next year, like when I'm trying to find these grasses, maybe what I'll do is I'll photocopy he has keys in here. So if I'm looking for a specific one, maybe say this here, there's page 163, there's a key to a species here. So I won't be doing this one. It's a goldenrod. I can't imagine I'll be looking to key out various goldenrods, but maybe I will, I don't know. And then I might photocopy just this little key and bring just one paper out with me. That might work to try to find, but for the grasses, I might do that because I'll see if it'll work out, if I'll learn enough over the winter just coloring these things in or whatever. I was thinking, okay, what can I do? Maybe I'll color the ones that I've already found, that I know what they look like, and then see how many I have left that I haven't found, right? Or whatever, right? And so then I know, okay, well, I have to look for these ones, and maybe it'll help me learn. So I don't know, because it costs 25 cents a page to photocopy from the library, and you can photocopy the big ones. You can enlarge things so I thought, well, may as well make a coloring book and see if that helps me, because they have all sorts of, like, they make coloring books for anatomy, if you're trying to learn anatomy.
They do.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe it does work for helping people learn.
I bet it does.
I bet it does. So I'm going to see if coloring plants, if it helps me learn. Because that's one thing that this is the best Waterton book. But if you're wanting to learn plants at first I was trying to learn from this book because it's so awesome. And I was having a tough time, and then I started learning from another book, which is awesome, but it's thin, right? It just has the main flowers of Waterton that you're going to run across and want to know what they are. And it was a couple people, a woman and man, the photographer was the man, who put this thing together, and it's great, because the woman will tell you where to find certain plants, which trails to go on to see certain plants, and she won't tell you exactly where on, like Whereas in this Yoke Kite book, he'll say this is an alpine. Sometimes he'll say where to, like this is on the Parkview Lakes, and it's the uppermost part or whatever, and so you know where you're going to find, like the alpine poppy that we found. There's only a few places to find that, and that's where you find it. So he'll mention things like that. But one thing I had trouble finding, like when I first tried learning this one thing, it's so thick you can't bring it with you. Whereas the other one you can. That helps a lot. And another thing, these are line drawings. Sometimes even plants that I knew I was having a hard time finding in this book because they're line drawings. And they're not in color. That makes a big difference. Because if you're looking for flowers, right away you're thinking, okay, what color is it? And this isn't really well organized that way too, because a lot of books they'll have like in bold, flower color or whatever, right? Or like the book will have little keys to what color bloom it is. So then you go open up to yellow and you start flipping through the yellow parts. Well, that makes it a lot easier. This doesn't have anything like that. He has it according to the Latin names. That's how it's arranged. Which, that's great if you're a botanist and you go, okay, this looks like it's some sort of solidago. So then you go, okay, I'm gonna go to solidago, and you look through it and you're like, all right, well, it's one goldenrod or another, right? We were just talking, that's why I use solidago, because we were just talking about goldenrods as an example. Key out. So then you could key it out. But are you going to pack this big book with you on the trails anyway to key out your plant? No. And while you're in Waterton, you know you cannot take samples. You can't be going, oh, I don't know what this plant is, so I'm going to put it in my bag and then key it out later. You can't do that. When you're in a national park, you're not allowed to take plant samples. So this is really not that useful in that way. So still, I love this book. It's my favorite book. When I come back now from the trails, I've been flipping through this thing and like, okay, I think it's this, and then I'll be looking through, but some things it's like, okay, there's like a million grasses that look the same. I don't know which one it is. Or there's like other plants in here. I have no idea. There's not even a common name. I'm not familiar with any of the plants that it's related to even. So how am I going to find this plant, right? So, yeah. Anyway. That's all I wanted to say about the Waterton Lakes National Park. This is what I've been doing lately, is going, okay, well, we can't go to Waterton and look at flowers anymore, so what can I do to be learning the flowers, learning the different plants while I'm here and not hiking and looking at flowers? Because right now, even if I went to Waterton, there are some flowers still blooming, I'm sure. If I went there and I went high enough, I might find them. Because it's amazing how late in the season we were hiking last year and still finding blooms way up there. But I guess maybe it shouldn't be that amazing. I still have flowers in my garden going strong, and that's awesome. And I'm seeing, native plants around town that are still blooming, which wow.
It's been an awesome.
It's been an awesome season.
Do you think you can open that up for me? Sorry.
So, anyway, I'm going to have to return this book, because somebody might want it again. Yeah. I don't know, but in any case, I can't borrow it forever from the library. So that's that. Have to return it, and I'll borrow it again next year, maybe, or whatever, and try to key out some things, maybe. I'm not sure. I think that's the next thing I might do if I don't have luck with learning the grasses this way, and going, okay, well, because I've written down some details on the sheet from the book to say, okay, well, this should be located like This is subalpine, this is alpine, this is, you know, found in whatever, things that'll help me find this plant, right? And then if I still can't find it from this, then I will have to photocopy some of the keys to take them out with me. Because I don't know how else to do it with some of these. Sometimes there's a lot of plants, like especially grasses, that look a lot alike. And it can be tough to figure out, okay, well, what's what. Anyway.
Then I have trouble with it, see.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why this looks so ugly here now, our deck dinner, well, there's some of the people that were right here, the plants, they're right in on the inside of this window now. And in every window in my house. Because
tonight's supposed to be iffy.
Yeah, tonight's iffy. It's going to be a clear night, and +3, which is close. It might go down, right? And so it might get some frost, and then tomorrow's 0. So I don't think the things are going to live tomorrow night. So we're trying to get our fruit harvested from the garden and this and that, and trying to get all the plants in that need to go in. And so the plants that need to go in are in. And not everything is harvested yet. But that's okay. I think I still have time for that. I'm hoping.
We had some very good plants at the 2 places.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some good plants. And if I covered things up, it might, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to bother with that. That's a lot of work. And
you know, if you're hearing about a stretch of weather, warm weather, after a one-night cold snap.
Yeah.
For
but
a week after.
2-night colds, I don't know. And I'll look. I'll look at the library tomorrow at the weather. If it looks like it's going to be, maybe it'll be worth it to cover. I don't know. But
would you get attached to plants?
You do. You get
Doesn't matter if
attached
they're producing flowers.
Yeah.
Just greenery or
yeah. They've been faithful
veggies.
to you all summer long. You get used to them, and it's tough. Tough letting go at the end of the season. So I'll have to spray some white flies and stuff, and I should have sprayed it before I brought them in the house. You're probably thinking, why didn't you do that? Well, I just got tired and I just brought things in.
It was a tiring day, didn't it?
It was a tiring day. So that's that. That's what I did. So the peppers are in, and that's one thing. If you're like, oh well, my pepper plants look so great. Yeah, they'll look great in your house too, and they'll look great outside next year and whatever, because they last. I had one habanero, like those habaneros, just this big. I had one that was like this tall. They really, you know, they keep growing, and it was. I brought it out and out like every year. I'd bring it in the fall and bring it back out, and so it got huge. It was a humongous habanero. And eventually I decided, okay, well, there's too many plants I'm bringing in, and I didn't bring it in, and I felt horrible because I mean, it was such a wonderful plant. I had it for so many years. So
it produced stuff we could eat.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
ish. I don't know if you could really call habaneros food.
I don't, but
Pretty brutal. Almost, you know, so hot they're toxic. But anyway,
my favorite was the gooseberry plant.
Oh, the Cape gooseberries or whatever they're. Yeah,
They
the
were
golden berries. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to
They
call them
were
gooseberries in
huge.
Africa.
Yeah, they were monstrous. They were like ceiling height golden berries. Incredible.
Eventually, Pauline had to let them go.
Well, they were just so huge. It was a lot of work bringing them out and in, and you know, once plants get really big like that,
It's backbreaking.
it's backbreaking labor, just bringing them in and out. And whatever, you know, yeah. So
I was kind of glad that Pauline gave up on it.
yeah,
I was sad too.
yeah. Well, you get to. They're part of the family.
They are.
They are. So anyway, that's all I have.
Basically all that.
All right.